Today, I would really, really like to get deeper into what is the initial purpose of money in accordance to Torah.
Well, if we go back far enough, all the way to creation, every animal finds its food, but human beings have to work for their food. And that's, there was the result of eating from the tree of knowledge, where Adam was punished or cursed that by the sweat of his brow he will make bread, which means you're going to have to work hard to make a living. Make a living means to have what to eat. That's how it all began. So in order to make a sandwich, you have to first plow the earth, or first get control of a little piece of earth that belongs to you, that is not contested by everybody else. And then you plow that little piece of earth, and you plant the right seeds, and you wait for the season to do its thing, and then you harvest what you planted, and then you put it through the grill, through the mill, and you grind it into flour. It takes about a year to make a sandwich. That's called by the sweat of your brow. But the main thing is that you have to buy the piece of land, you have to buy the plow with which to plow, and you have to buy the seeds that you're going to plant. Then you have to buy a mill with which to grind, and then you have to buy an oven in which to bake it all. So this is all part of the curse. Because in a normal world, you should be able to find everything you need in nature. It should grow on trees. Not money. Money doesn't grow on trees, because you can't eat money. So instead of having money to buy the tree, and what you need to eat should grow on the tree, and it's right there, you can eat it. That would be a perfect world. We also know that when God curses, it's always a hidden blessing. What is the blessing in having to work for a living? Number of things. First of all, more than anything else, you come in contact with other people. If everyone could just go out and pick what they need off a tree, there would be no social life other than jealousy, competition. But when you have to earn a living, you have to work with others. They have something to sell, you need to buy, you get the product, they get the money. Win-win. It's a relationship, it's an interaction, it's a social contract, it puts you in touch with people, and that is very valuable. So the blessing behind the need to make a living is that you come in contact with people you would otherwise never meet. The people you do meet is all by divine plan. Because somehow, somewhere, either you contribute to their life or they contribute to your life, but something good happens from the interaction. So that's the first thing we have to bear in mind. Why am I leaving my house to be able to come back to feed my house? Because you got to come back with some achievement, with some goods. You met somebody, you helped somebody, you got help from somebody, you made friends with somebody, something wonderful happened besides the money. So everybody, I think, can admit, just the making of money doesn't feel justified. Why should that be necessary? I need what to eat and I have to go running around the world far away from home in order to be able to feed my family. It's crazy. So the justification is your purpose in life is not only for your family, it's a much broader exposure to people, more contacts, more relationships, friendships, and so on. That's number one. Number two is charity. If everybody has their own tree and they can pick their food and eat, there'll be no opportunity for charity. But because everybody has to make a living, and not everybody is equally talented, some people will need help in making a living. They'll need a loan, they'll need some encouragement, they'll need partnership. Again, a great mitzvah that comes as a result of money, or the need for money. The beautiful thing is this: when you give $1 to charity or to a poor person, what went into that dollar? What did you invest in that dollar? Well, first of all, you got up early. If you didn't have to go to work, you wouldn't get up so early. So you gave up some sleep in order to make that dollar. Secondly, you traveled. You had to leave home, you had to drag yourself around town or even out of town in order to make this dollar. In order to make this dollar, you had to risk. You exposed yourself to all sorts of risks. In the olden days, on the roads, you would be robbed, mugged, whatever. Or you're exposed to other people with their germs, with their flus. So anytime you leave home, you put yourself in some kind of a risk. So you invest your time, you give up your sleep, you put all your thinking, your brains, your ambitions, every part of you is invested in making a living that results in this dollar. When you give this dollar to charity, look at what you're giving. It's your life, it's your sleep, it's your thoughts, it's your ambition, it's everything. No dollar is without its history. How did it come to you? How did you get it? How did you make it? Most cases, it's a total commitment, a total involvement in making this dollar. And you're willing to part with it? All of a sudden, charity takes on a whole new meaning. So let's say everybody had a tree to pick their food from, but you happen to have a better tree. So you give some of your fruit to your neighbor. Very nice. Doesn't compare. You didn't invest in it. You didn't have to think about it. You didn't risk anything. So yeah, you would be generous. You'd share your fruit. But then it's only the fruit. Today, because you have to make a living, every dollar you share is a piece of your life. It's a chunk of you. So the mitzvah becomes incredibly significant and powerful. So those are the two things: making contact with people and the ability to give charity. Then it's just nice to have money. Nothing wrong with that.
So there's some sort of a distrust for rich people. Then there's some sort of a label that these are not the best people in the world, people with money.
There is a moral challenge or a moral test, but it works both ways. Poverty can be very corrupting. It can make you miserable, antisocial. It can make you, give you a criminal mind. Everything you see, your first thought is, can I steal it? Poverty is no picnic, and it doesn't necessarily make for moral people. The same is true with wealth. It can corrupt. It's a challenge. There's always a moral challenge in any circumstance, in any condition. Which is the better? What's the preferred challenge? Today, the preferred challenge is wealth. We should actually ask God, test us with wealth, because with poverty, we have already done very well. This is one of the special things about our history, our collective experience. We went through terrible poverty and we handled it quite well. It didn't ruin us, it didn't destroy us, it didn't corrupt us to a great, impressive degree. Now we're ready to take the other challenge. Now let's see how well we can handle wealth. We're ready for the challenge. But it is a challenge.
There is such a family as the Rothschilds, who I think have been there. I believe they're the richest people on earth for the longest time, for centuries. And they're Jewish.
And they've done well. They handled their wealth well. They're very charitable. They're humble, as much as a billionaire can be humble. So they did well. It's a good example of handling wealth properly. They're not using it to control others. They're not using it as a threat or as a whip. No, it's control in the financial world.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the way it's supposed to be.
Okay.
But they don't use it to start controlling people in their politics or in their religion. They're doing what they're good at. They're not crossing any red lines.
Identifying failing the test of money, the test of wealth. How would you identify that in our current situation, of an average person, of course?
If you can afford to buy stocks, you're pretty rich. You have, what is it called? Disposable income. That's pretty rich. In other words, you have more than you need. That is the feeling of wealth. I have more than I need. Of course, depends on your appetite. How much do you think you need? So you can have people who have lots of money, but they feel like they need it all. None of it is disposable. But the feeling of wealth is the feeling that I have more than I need. And it doesn't matter what the dollar amount is. It's a very subjective experience. Now, the test is, a man is married, he has a house, he has children, he has a car, he has a community, congregation, he goes to a shul. That's his world, right? Now he gets rich. All of a sudden, his wife is not exactly what doesn't suit him. His children, they're holding him back. They're a liability. The house he's living in, it doesn't fit right. It doesn't look right. The car that he's driving, an embarrassment. Even his community and his rabbi and his friends, they're all suddenly no good. We're not good enough. So he has to change his entire life to match his wealth. Now that's backwards. When you have wealth, you can really make the most of your life. If you have wealth, you can make your wife a queen. You can make your children comfortable. You can support your community. You can keep your house functioning. And you can drive your car just as well as any other car. So here's the point. Will your wealth enhance your life, or will your life become insufficient for you, and you're going to have to replace it with a different life? Then the wealth is killing you. So we need to really stop and think, what is that? What is that? Why is it that a rich man needs to drive a fancy car? All right, I can understand. I mean, if you can afford a better car, who are you kidding? You might as well drive a nicer car. But what is it with your wife? She doesn't deserve to be rich with you? You have to replace her with a new model? And suddenly your children are not the most precious thing in your life? How did that happen? And now all of a sudden your rabbi doesn't know doesn't know how to guide you or inspire you, or what is that? Why is it that all of a sudden you're too good for everything in your life? That's poison. So the wealth has killed you, or is killing you. When a person knows how to handle wealth, when he gets wealthy, everyone around him benefits, not pays the price. There are people who are very disturbed, very uncomfortable with how come he has? What's about him? Who does he think he is? And then there are others who have the opposite feeling. Why don't I have? What's wrong with me? Either way, it's an uncomfortable feeling. I don't know if you use the same word for both, but they're both forms of jealousy. I can feel jealous because I don't think you deserve. Who are you? Where do you come off being rich? The other is, are you telling me something's wrong with me? I'm a failure? I'm a loser? You're telling me that I'm no good? So who's more dangerous? If you feel hurt, like you're the loser, that's much more dangerous. That's like Germany in the 30s. What? We're the losers? Oh no. Also, these are the two forms of anti-Semitism. One is, how come the Jews are chosen? What's with them? What's so special about them? Why them? Okay. But then there are those who say, and I'm not? I'm not as important? I'm not as good? I'm not chosen? Oh, those are dangerous. So psychologically, there's a jealousy of anyone who is better than me. But then there's also the hurt of being put down or denied, or so when your ego can't stand being number two, that's dangerous. Whether it's anti-Semitism or jealousy of the wealthy. And then you start thinking, he's not really better than me. I mean, he's a liar, he's corrupt, he got the money through dishonest means. Yeah, I want to tear him down because I don't like his being superior to me. But that comes second. The first thing is we hate being made to look less. I mean, there's truth to it also. It's not just imaginary. The rich are advantaged. It's an advantage to be rich, there's no question. But like we spoke last week, that is not a threat to those who are not rich. Become rich? Who's stopping you? It's not like there are only $10 in the register and you have to decide who is going to get the $10. There's plenty of $10 bills for everybody. He got his, you go get yours. You don't have to take his. There is no shortage. Again, that is the basis, the false assumption and belief that all socialism is based on. We're all fighting over the same dollar. We need a system by which the dollar can be shared equitably, because there's only $1 for all of us. And that's a crazy notion. There's $1 for everybody. Stop fighting over it. Just go get yours.
If you enjoyed this conversation or this topic, and you're looking for more information, or you want to hear it again from another angle, there's a way to do that. And that is in this book. It's all there. Order it from Amazon. You can read it, reread it, and share it. We have a Sunday night program for VIPs that you might be interested in. It's informal. It's questions and answers. It's conversation. It's really relaxed. It's really pleasant, enjoyable, informative, and kind of community-like. It's a Sunday night program. There's a Wednesday morning program for the VIPs, and there's a Wednesday night program. All of it just conversation, casual, laid back, unscripted. So join us. Take a look. Click the link below and see which of the three suits you best, and join us for some enjoyable conversation.